Good evening all, thank you for coming and a warm welcome to this evening's meeting. This meeting will be live streamed through the Council's Facebook page. Persons attending will be captured on film except when seated in the public seating area, with the exclusion of the first row. Any speech may be picked up and broadcast. A fire alarm drill is not planned. In the event that the alarm sounds, please make your way out of the building using either staircase to the meeting point in Red Lion Yard and await further instructions. Councillors are reminded that to avoid the risk of being seen as predetermined or biased, they should consider all debate prior to deciding on how to vote on items of business. Urgent items for information only, can be brought to the attention of the committee at the discretion of the chairman, which would be me. Totally lost myself now because I was being funny. At the end of the meeting, no decisions can be taken on items not detailed on the published agenda. Please ensure mobile phones are turned off or to silent. Business to be transacted. Item 1, apologies for absence.
Councillors Cummings, Yelland and Holt for illness, all three of them.
Councillor Ireland.
Opposed and accept.
Councillor Fisher to second. All in favour? Thank you very much. Thanks everybody. Item 2, declarations of interest. To receive disclosures of interest from councillors and matters to be considered at the meeting. The disclosures shall include the nature of the interest. If a member becomes aware during the course of the meeting of an interest that has not been disclosed, they must do so immediately. Councillors are reminded to ensure their register of interests form is up to date.
Allotment.
Councillor Neil, allotments.
Item 10 for allotments.
Thank you. Councillor Marsh.
Payments when we come to that.
Thank you. Item 3, public participation. To receive questions or comments from members of the public. Please note that decisions cannot be made on items not detailed on the agenda. Ladies, this is your time.
Right, Mayor and Councillor, good evening. We're a little delegation from the Glen here at Northampton. Mrs. Eastman, Mrs. Cook and I and Mrs. Webb. And we have got concerns about the trees down at the Glen. There's been an occasion last week where a branch fell down and actually broke somebody's window screen and dented their car twice. And also we're on about the walkway from New Road into the Glen, that the trees and all that need cutting back. And we can hardly get through the little walkway down here. And there's a bit of ground that we're not sure about who owns it. You know where you cut the grass between you and the west, you fight over it and you cut the grass. But there's a bit around the compost area that needs cutting back because we can't actually get to the compost area to empty it.
Right. Thank you very much. Just a quick question. Does anyone on the council have any information with regards to that area?
The grass there would be cut by West Devon Borough Council or Devon County, one or the other, not this council, because it's verges and things. It doesn't belong to Oakhampton Town Council. The trees would either be Devon County Council if it's the footpath, potentially, or whoever the landowner is for those pieces of land. And I think the car park at the Glen would probably be Live West, or whoever owns that.
Belongs to Live West.
Yes.
But they say that all the trees and the banks do not belong to them.
No, they would possibly be Devon County Council or West Devon Borough Council.
Excuse me, would that be highways then, or?
Yes.
So if we want to ask the same as we asked here this evening, would it be worth getting in touch with them?
Councillor Marsh.
Yeah, I was going to say a bit what the clerk said, but we do have our county councillor here, so maybe it's something he can note.
Thank you very much, Councillor Marsh.
I'm just having a look to see if it's likely to be ours.
I'm sorry, I don't know.
So I'm the county councillor.
Oh, right. Or not.
I'd have to have a look to see one of the trees and then get back to you on that. And I'll also double check the cutting of the grass as well.
I mean, the grass hasn't been actually cut today.
Funny enough. No, it wasn't the grass. No, it's
But
not.
there's great confusion over that bit of grass. There's more fights over it than not. Who's cutting it, who's not cutting it?
Really belongs to who it doesn't.
Yeah. And there's one more question I'd like to ask. This is something, if you could help us with a volunteer group. Also on that bit of grass, there was a lovely border that we planted roses and delphiniums. And at one point, we used to pay for a private gardener. But with the rents going up and also the maintenance fees, all of us are pensioners down there, and we can't afford to do that anymore. So we was just trying to find out if there's any volunteer groups that would actually go down there and just tidy it up for us, really. It's such a pretty place down there, it's a shame to see it go corrupt, really.
Thank you very much. So I'm going to milk the fact that we've got the public here as much as I can, and I'm going to ask everyone around the table, does anybody know of any voluntary gardening groups?
There's stock. The Stick Gardening and Conservation Group, they're more conservation, but sometimes they do work in the castle and places like that. So. But we would be, I don't know if it'd be regular now.
Okay, Councillor Richards.
In the absence of Councillor Cummings, who I think would have had more to say on this matter than,
Yes.
but I'm going to imagine that the community garden and possibly Transition Town would be able to organise what is being requested, a voluntary.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So if we can note exactly the detail of the request,
Yep.
and that can be passed on to me,
Okay.
then I will take it on board and hopefully bring it back to the council, hopefully for the next meeting.
Thank you.
Okay.
Ladies, if you could leave your contact details with us, and then we can pass those on to Councillor Granger, and we can also look into the other things for you and get back to you. Okay, thank you very much.
Would you be happy for me to pass on your contact details to the relevant people?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes, no
Yeah, if
problem.
you could leave it with us, that would be lovely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Councillor Goffin?
No, I'm here as a resident
Yep.
temporarily, so I'm double hatted tonight. I think that the park keeper usually cuts the bank by the seat along by Fern Meadow. The Fern Meadow corner is getting very overgrown and full of brambles. And on the other side of the road, there's nettles. And when one is on one's mobility scooter, you don't have the opportunity to avoid these things. So I'd be very grateful if it could be cut and tidied like
I will
it
ask
usually
them.
does.
Where is that, please?
On the corner of Fern Meadow, Credit Road, Fern Meadow, where the seat is.
Yeah, we'll have a look into it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Goffin. Is there anybody else in the public that would like to say anything? Do we have any emails or phone calls? No? Okay, so we're going to move on to item number 4, which is members' questions. To receive questions from members regarding the workings of the council.
I'm sorry, I was distracted by the impasse pile of papers. Sorry about that. Yes, can I ask a question?
Certainly, Councillor Rowley.
Thank you very, very much. Yeah, a couple of things really. Firstly, members of the public have contacted me about the obstruction and sort of the growth of trees and branches over the bus stop at Cost Cutters on the opposite side of the road. Not the Cost Cutter side, but the other side, you can't actually do the bus stop. And the driver has said to me that it's difficult to know where to pull in. And what happens is, when the bus pulls in, it pulls in by a quite steep bank, and people, there's usually older people on that bus, as you probably know, they can't really climb up the steep bank. I mean, I myself, not, it's nothing to do with me, but I myself with a stroke, it's hard to climb up there. So it's just that it needs cutting back. And I asked, it was very helpful, Clark and the assistant clerk were very helpful. They've tried to ask Devon County Council to do this, but unfortunately nothing happens. So maybe Councillor Granger could take this up for us, but it's certainly an issue that's being raised with me. So my job here is to represent the public, isn't it? And that's what I've tried to do. So thank you for that. And the final thing I want to say is on the 2nd of July, which is only a few days' time, I should be attending the Great Western Annual Conference in Swindon. Now I mention that because Oakhampton, Launceston and Bodmin, there is, as you know, there's been a presentation here. Oakhampton, Launceston and Bodmin will be one of the topics. It's been raised in Parliament and it's something that I will try to raise there to get Oakhampton and that route discussed. So I just want to say that for the councillors as a whole. Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much, Councillor Ryland. Does anyone else got any questions?
A member of public has brought up the topic of the service for the Armed Services Service. There was no representation from the mayor or the deputy mayor, and so there was wondering why.
Right, okay, so I believe my deputy was away at the time. I was actually working that day. I can usually get away around midday. Unfortunately, we had a bit of an emergency at another place and I had to go and cover that last minute. So I didn't have anyone that I could get in touch with at the time and I couldn't make it. I'd always said that it was iffy because I was working that day. But thank you for bringing that up. Anything else? Any more questions? No? Okay, moving on. Item number 5 is West Devon Borough Council to receive reports from West Devon Borough Councillors, if present. So I'm going to start this time with Councillor Leach, because he always looks at me sternly when I leave him to last and completely forget him. Councillor Leach.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Hopefully, and I ask this each time, my report has gone around and I know some people read it. But if you haven't, I better get through it. So as you know, I try to keep to local issues as much as possible. So parcel 4A, and I know this is in the hamlets, but it does affect the whole town and will do eventually. So there's issues with the footpath coming off parcel 4A, which is on the left as you go up the hill towards Crescent. Those steps haven't now been altered, although there are a series of steps and platforms down to a platform next to the road, so you don't now walk straight out into the road. And they've also cut back the bank so you have better visibility going towards Crichton. Unfortunately, that looks like it might have done some damage to the trees, and that's been reported to the tree specialist at West Devon. The other thing I noticed, and this might be one for Devon County, when you're coming out of actual development, visibility to the left is obscured by the amount of plant growth along the bank. So you have to get your nose right because there's a slight bend to your left as you're coming down. And the traffic still comes down that road quite fast. So I've actually put that in the hands of the Western Enforcement team. But if our county councillor could have a look at it to see if that is a highways issue or the landowner's issue. Thank you. Credit Road Persimmons site play area. We've been trying to get this piece of equipment for the last 9 years, I think, something like that. It's now all been agreed, but I still haven't had any confirmation as to when it's going to be put in place. Credit Road footpath, I'm told that's supposed to start midway through this coming month, there will be certainly disruption to traffic movement, but it's hoped it will be worthwhile in the fullness of time. Now, I've had some issues from residents about affordable housing, and one, is not affordable, and two, they want to know who can apply for the houses and why more people from Oakhampton can't gain access to those houses. So I won't go through the whole thing I've written here. Basically, it's all based on the 106 agreements with the developers, and under the Section 106 agreement, 50% of the houses must be offered to the local residents first, and the other 50% go to West Devon residents only. If the first 50% don't have enough take-up, then they then go West Devon as a whole. Should you not have enough people putting in for these properties, then it can go Devon wide. There's this rumour for years has gone around that these 106 houses can be purchased by other councils and filled from other places in the country. That's not the case. Quite a lot of that is where there's buy-to-lets. So people buy properties to let, they can let them to anyone. On the new estates to the east, most of those properties are actually owned by Legal and General and a separate company, I think it's called Peninsula, manage the properties. The shared equity properties are treated in the same way as the other ones, but the take-up locally is quite low. So if it isn't, it goes further. Those properties are mainly advertised through Rightmove and not Who's Choice, which most people go on to if they think they have a chance. Right, local government review is proving extremely time consuming for literally all officers throughout Devon, but certainly for West Devon. They've got 9 different work streams they have to work through, and that's literally just in case of what might come. So they've got to hedge the bets as to what is coming. It's no good sitting and waiting till the government make their decision this coming month, because then they've got to hit their rate, literally rate, because they'll have to set up elections for next year, and that takes quite a lot of organising, and they won't know until the last minute exactly what areas will be falling into this area. There's also a thing called a structural order, change order. There's been, which West Devon has had some input into. They've now sent this into the government, and we wait for what comes out of it. Oakhampton Castle has still proved to be successful, and that as of last week, and this is for general, the separate gate that allows for those who are disabled to access the site is now open for all to use during the period it's open. That's from Wednesday through including to Sunday. Signage for this gate is still awaited, but there's further up the road to the office gate. It looks shut, but it's easily open. We're waiting for some signs to say, please close the gate, because it opens out into the road. Parklands, as I said last month, is now under new management, and from the staff's perspective, the new company is running with a lot of outstanding repairs and maintenance, literally started on day 1. I hope that all users will see the difference. New station, I believe the station will open for the required trials in mid-July, but I was told today that some trials have actually started today. that goes through to September still. General West Devon issues, we've had presentations from Tamar Energy and the Organisation for Connecting Devon and Somerset. These presentations have already hopefully been circulated to everybody. The presentation for Connecting Devon I found quite interesting because this goes back, they're saying a decade, I think it's a bit more than that, when the original contract was let to BT, and the government's announcement was right across the country, everyone would get fast and access to digital. I have to be careful what I say here. But over the years, the contracts have come and they've gone. So the contracts come in, they take the easy to do jobs and the ones that presumably can make them most money. And when it gets hard, get vacant. Now this new contract has been let to try and get to, across the country, they're saying it's 1%, which is hard to get to. For West Devon, there's between 5 and 6% because we're so rural. And there's still no guarantees under this new contract that all these people will eventually get some access. And I made it quite clear at a meeting last week, because everything's gone digital. If you want a hospital appointment, doctor's appointment, you name it, you've got to go online or make a phone call and wait for hours. And it's important that these people who have been left behind for so long do get some form of connection. Unfortunately, it probably end up being the public purse paying for it rather than the contractors who have to sit. Waste contract, I've seen others have mentioned this. West Devon's waste contract is coming back in-house next year. This will actually save, hopefully it will save money, but more importantly, with the last borough stroke district to actually bring something back. All the rest are all in-house now, and once we go to unitaries, so it would be sensible for us to follow suit. So I'll make it slightly easier to make the new system work, I suppose. Lastly, again, probably I have to be careful what I say. Council attendance record for West Devon. That's just been released and made public. And I've put here, it's now been published for last year and makes some good reading. I feel that the statistics can be deceiving, as some people not only have very few meetings to attend, so if they attend them all, that's 100%. But those who have a lot to do, if they miss a few, it looks worse. But I'm saying that, if anybody looks at it, there are some glaring ones where, and I think the only real excuse is illness or family bereavements, that sort of. But I can't see how some can justify such a low attendance. Oh, no, one other thing. At the last planning meeting, I had a concern about the developers working on parcel 3. I keep calling it parcel 3 because I never remember what the name called. But working on Sunday. I've reported that to our enforcement team and to the planners, and the planning team go to enforce the 106 agreement, which says you mustn't work on Sunday. But while they do that, they're going to check on all the other 106 agreements, what's in the agreements, to make sure that they're being complied to. That's it.
Thank you very much, Councillor Lee. Councillor Goffey.
Well, I sent you my report, 5 o'clock. which you should have all had. And seeing as you're all grown-ups and can read, I don't see the point in reiterating it.
Thank you.
And so I will step back unless, obviously, at the right time, anybody's got a question.
Councillor Goffey, Councillor Dexter.
I think Councillor Goff is probably to shame now stood up and speaking to that report. But I would like to just speak to it rather than reading it. And I just started off with about the waste and recycling. I mean, what I would add to what's already been said, the first time we heard that this was happening, and that it was going to be to West Devon. And obviously South Hams and West Devon are served by the same officers, and the South Hams run their own service. So it was natural that West Devon should take it over. But I did ask the Chief Executive about this, and he said, no, he said, was absolutely adamant that there should be a rigorous appraisal of the proposal. It's not as if we're just putting it to the house. And they went through about 5 options, and I don't think it was a surprise that, if you like, the in-house option won. And I'm really looking forward to the savings that it will make, because there's a lot of efficiency savings that can be made. For example, changing of rounds, making the collection rounds more efficient. But as was already said, I'm also really pleased that the people, the operatives, are going to be moved to a council contract, which is shorter hours, better conditions all round. And if anybody were to say, yes, but that will increase the cost of labour, won't it? And I would say, no, it won't, because there's a lot of temporary workers on the existing contract because the terms are so bad. So I think this is one of the things where everybody wins, actually. And the other bit that didn't come out I don't think it came out in the press release, was the fleet replacement, which would happen anyway, regardless of who ran it, because the bin lorries and all the vehicles lasted 7 to 9 years or something like that. But I was really pleased that where we can run electric, we will be. It's not practical to run electrics for the big bin lorries because it's just not at the present state of the technology. But I was also happy that they're using, I think it's hydrogenated vegetable oil, but I stand to be corrected on that, which is far lower carbon footprint. And I just asked somebody who knew what they were talking about, how can they're burning the stuff, so how can that be a lower carbon footprint? And his answer was, well, you're burning today's sunlight, not the sunlight from 100 million years ago. So you're not actually generating additional carbon. So I was very pleased, which actually fitted into my sort of new portfolio that I don't think I'm responsible for climate. It wasn't my fault that it was so hot 3 days ago or something. But the council's doing a lot of good work already. They really are. And I just want to add that. And I'm going to be working on various projects to add to the good work that's already being done. Finally, the cost of living support, there's big papers and lots of detail about that. But I have I've done a lot of work in the past in housing associations, and they like to treat their tenants very well for the most part. And they tend to have a holistic tenant view. If there's a problem here for the tenant, it's because of something else. So the council's setting up a team, if you like, to try and serve people, taking a holistic view, not just trying to look at, you've got a debt collection, if you like, on your rates, so therefore we're going to try and handle you for it. No, there's a reason for that. So I've got great hopes, if you like, that in the future it's going to benefit both the council, because it will improve our already good tax collection rates, and it will also aid very much our residents and so on. So, I mean, the final thing was not on my report at all, but Councillor Rock and I are hoping to bring something forward for your support in the next meeting or whenever on the Relief Road, but it's not appropriate to talk about that in this particular. I just hope you give your support and Sharon, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Councillor Dexter. So item 6 is Devon County Council. Councillor Granger.
Thank you. I have to apologise in advance for reading from my laptop. I've sort of made a mistake in any of the names. The TRO, the traffic restrictions around the new station. So the traffic restriction order around the new station, a few months ago I sent in the proposed plans for double yellow lines on the north and south side of the track. After looking at some public feedback and the Oakhampton Town Council's feedback, most of that was agreed. So we should now have double yellow lines along Hamble Down Road, High Stockley Mead, Kellens Lane, up to Kellens Lane from the business park. The only change to the original plan that was advertised was Dartmoor View on the south side of the station. So this was following feedback from residents from Kellens Lane who were worried that without double yellow lines on outside of their homes, people would be parking outside of their homes, and they're really concerned, and it's going to be a bit of an issue. There were also some businesses in the business park that thought that double yellow lines might restrict their business. So we wanted to keep some free parking on the south side of the track. So hopefully some free parking on the south side of the track will mean that anybody wanting to use the train for free and not wanting to use the pay display can park there rather than going towards Kellens Lane, parking outside people's homes. So Dartmoor View, which was the road where the Promise School was, is quite wide, and we've taken that off the TRO. So there are no double yellow lines on Dartmoor View now. So the businesses shouldn't have all of their spaces taken up by people wanting to use the train for free, and hopefully residents aren't annoyed by people parking outside their houses because they'll be parking south of the track. On the north side of the track, we plan on shortening the length of the bus stop to incorporate a drop-off point. I know that was something Councillor Coffey was keen on. The bus stop was just very long. We can shorten it, add the drop-off point, and also get a bus in there. So it seems like a no-brainer. So we'll have a drop-off zone on the north and south of the track now, and Dartmoor View won't have double yellow lines. So I'll send the revised plans back over to the council. That was only a very recent update as of last week, so that's why it hasn't been sent over yet. As for the Hatchop Committee, which took place this morning, there was nothing in Oakhampton, that was in Hadley and Tavistock, so nothing to report for you guys. Hedge cuttings, I've made note of that, so I'll get onto that. Don't know if we'll be able to cut the main hedges along near the bus stop because of the bird nesting season, but if it's in front of a lamp at the bus stop or light or something like that, you might be able to do a visual inspection and get it cut. So we'll do a visual inspection and see if there's any nests there, and then we might be able to cut. But
Excuse me, it's only a very small area, just so you can see the sign. That's a tiny area, really small. Don't really, any animals are birds here. So yeah, I can see it. It's really easy.
Well, we'll do an inspection.
Have a look,
and as Councillor Leach said, if that hedgerow is restricting the visibility, it's potentially dangerous, you might be able to chop that as well. So yeah, I'll look into that. Footpath 42, which was opened, that was then live for a very long time. I can't believe how long that took, but it was reopened. However, the gradient, the footpath has moved ever so slightly, and it's now far steeper than what it once was. And it's now that steep that with the loose gravel surface, it is quite loose underfoot, and even with the handrail, it's quite sketchy if we don't want anybody to slip on it. So I'm going to ask if we can put some steps there instead. Originally they'd said, we'd rather have it as a slope rather than steps because of the prams and wheelchairs. However, that is so steep, you wouldn't ever be trying to get anybody to go down that anyway. So I'm going to ask if they can put some steps in just to make that a bit safer. Footpath 41, I'm hoping West Edinburgh Council, we can work together on that one because that's the one, Mill Road. Devon County Council have exhausted all options a long time ago with that one, and we kind of just need to bang our heads together and get some action on that one, because yeah, that's been closed for too long and I want it opened. So yeah, that's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So item 7 is questions arising from member reports. Questions arising from West Devon Borough Council and Devon County Council reports in relation to items as presented to the meeting to be summarised and recorded by the clerk for forwarding to the relevant persons. So, Councillor Leach.
Yeah, one for each, one for me as well. Footpath 41, that's been a thorn in everybody's side for a long time. And Millside. Yes, it's Devon County, and I've been in touch with the DCC and officer for that. And the last I heard, it was stuck with building control, because the building control should have its own teeth to be able to say, if you do X to that cable end, as in a supported scaffold to stop it falling. There's nothing to stop the footpath being opened, but it's a private, that is private. But it could be down to building control to open that particular gate. I've asked West Devon's reps on building control to look at it. I can't get a response back from them. The other footpath, again, there was, go back some years, the previous owner of that land asked for that footpath to be moved. That did include having to put steps in. And it was turned down because it's the only way, sensible way for people with pushchairs, buggies, etc., disabled people, to come down straight to the road without going in steps. If we incorporate steps now, just because the developer has changed it, I think that's wrong, personally. So I'll pass on to our Devon councillor. We need to force the developer to do what they were supposed to do. Close it by doing it works, open it back to where it was.
Thank you very much, Councillor Leach. Any more questions? Councillor O'Neill.
Just a comment on bin collections which came up. I think we should be full of admiration of the way they work in this area. In the hot weather, it must be hell for them. And that's equally so in the rainy weather. And whether they get £1 or £50, they do a damn good job.
Thank you very much.
For Devon County Council, the state of the roads around town, especially on Mill Road, virtually the whole of Mill Road all the way around to George Street, the roads are breaking up badly. And with the volume of traffic that's passing over them, the holes just get worse and worse. They turn into deep ruts. So I'm wondering if that could be fed back to your highways or whoever they to have a look at it.
Yep.
Sorry. As far as I'm aware, we're waiting for Wales and West to finish all of their work in Oakhampton, which will be 2027, and then we're going to do large scale resurfacing. So obviously you don't want to be doing any resurfacing if they're going to be dug up again. So the worst of the potholes will be patching, but it's not full resurfacing until 27.
No, but at the moment the ruts are getting so big that you're bouncing, and you get lorries and vans and cars going round, especially Mill Road. It's a popular road round to go to the post office. It really does need to be addressed.
I'll have a drive around after the meeting and I'll check them out.
I'd just like to thank our councillors that have given the reports, and particularly the Devon County Council for coming, and hope you didn't have too much flack.
Thank you. Councillor Ireland.
this thing working? Yeah, it is. I don't know. Yes, it is. Okay. Right. I would just want to put a slightly counterpoint to in terms of the conditions of the roads. Those of us who know, I'm sure Councillor Goffey on her speed machine knows, you know that the road down Crescent Road, Councillor Goffey, I want to commend, I don't know who's responsible in Devon County, but that road resurfacing has been done quite efficiently and all the way along, right the way up the Crediton Road, and I'm extremely pleased with that. So it isn't all bad news, is what I want to say. It's really good. Well done. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Richards.
May I just remind councillors of the rules on potholes? I certainly keep an eye to you know, when it can be reported. Thanks to our town clerk who sent out a paper some time ago, a pothole, in order for Devon County Council to respond to a pothole request, it has to be at least 30 centimetres in direction, you know, in depth, in length. It has to be at least 2 centimetres deep, and it has to have vertical edges. And I certainly keep an eye on these things, and unfortunately a lot of our potholes do not qualify in that way, because unfortunately what seems to happen around our town and many others, it's the breakup of the top surface, and that top surface is not 2 centimetres deep. But if one, as I understand it, if one does report a pothole which is beyond a certain limit, then they come and do it quite quickly, as they have done in Chichicot, in the little Chichicot Lane extension, which is quite surprising. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Richards. Councillor Fisher? No? Yeah. Councillor Bird?
I just wanted to ask Councillor Goffey, it says in your report about the local cycling and walking infrastructure plan having been completed. I was part of the committee for the Beacon cycle route from Sticklepath to Oakhampton. Do you know, has that been included at all with the new infrastructure?
I don't know, but I will find out for you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I've been approached by several people, so this is another one for Devon County Council. We've had a fair number of people in the last few months that have tripped over on our paving slabs. There's one lady that has suffered about £7,000 worth of dental damage due to tripping over a waterboard access manhole, which isn't really a manhole, it's a tiny little thing, for a metre outside of a house. I actually bumped into the engineer that was measuring it up the other day and had a long conversation with him about it. And I just want to bring it to your attention that although your 20mm rule for it being a trip hazard is in place, this one was actually 15mm. And we've got various other ones up the road on Exeter Road. We've got others just outside and further along from the White Hart, where other people have tripped over at similar heights. Now these don't fit the remit, but they are quite obviously a dangerous trip hazard, and they've caused significant harm to members of our public. So I would like you to sort of have a word and see if something can't be done. Really appreciate that.
Yeah. Just in response to that, you see, if we were to lower the threshold to say 15mm, obviously we'd be then a lot more money for repairs all over the county. So, yeah, I can certainly, if there are particularly problematic ones where there's maybe potentially more people walking across or something, and there's more need for it to be repaired sooner, even if it's slightly below the threshold, I can try, I just can't promise anything. I would imagine it will get added to the list. If there are any particularly bad ones, if people could just let me know, and I can certainly chase the officers about it.
Okay, thank you very much. Any more questions arising from reports? No? Thank you. Moving on to item 8, adoption of minutes of committees and to receive questions from members thereon. Item 8.1. Oh,
I think that falls to me as
does.
Mrs. Chair. So to adopt the minutes of the Policy and Resources Committee meeting held on the 13th of April 2026, and the Chair to receive, that will be me, to receive any questions from members regarding the workings and decisions made at this committee meeting. Do we have a proposal to accept?
So, Councillor Richards proposed, Councillor Fisher to second. All in favour? Do you have a question, Councillor Marsh? Did I miss you?
I do have a question.
I do apologise.
That's quite all right. You're a bit off the mark there. I'm not sure whether it's this meeting, the next Policy and Resources one, which is next week, but I do have a question about the allocation of grants. Which is the best meeting for it to come to?
Next week, I would think.
Okay, thank you. I'll bring it to next. I'll be at next week's meeting.
Thank you, Councillor Marsh. Just a quick one, were you voted in favour of the proposal?
I did.
Thank you very much, that was everybody there. 8.2, Parks Committee.
Can I ask members please to adopt the minutes of the Parks Committee meeting held on the 16th of February this year, and with, as chairman, to receive questions from members regarding workings and decisions made by this committee. I'll propose it. Can I second it, please?
Councillor Ryan to second. All in favour? That's everybody. Thank you. Item 9, full council minutes. To receive, sign and approve the minutes of the Town Council meeting held on the 1st of June 2026. I propose. Councillor Tolley to second. All in favour? That's everybody. Thank you. Item 10, projects and consultations. 10.1, local government reorganisation, to consider any updates. Well, I went to the meeting and it was very nicely laid out. It was ridiculously hot and we learned nothing that we didn't already know, which I would say I was surprised, but I wasn't at all, and neither was anybody else. So actually nothing really to report on that. So I'm going to make Councillor Marsh, go on. You're going to ask me a question that I can't answer, aren't you?
Well, I am going to ask a question, but maybe it's other council members that could answer it. My understanding is that there wasn't anybody from West Devon or South Cambs there. Can you tell me if that's correct or not?
To my knowledge, you're correct.
Can I then ask why there was nobody from those two councils there when this is such an important decision?
It looks like Councillor Goffey might have something to say on this.
West Edinburgh Council's had a meeting prior to that, and it was specifically for town and parish councillors.
Yeah. So I think the idea was, it was to coerce us all into creating cluster groups so that we could support ourselves.
I have another question. Is it correct as well that different districts had different ideas on the assets that they own?
There did seem to be some discrepancies between the districts, but the overall aim is that it would all be homogenised, harmonious even, so everyone would get the same deals at the end of it. But as and when that is supposed to take place, I don't know, because we've run out of time already as far as I was aware.
Supplementary to that
Carry on.
is some districts were giving their assets, some districts were leasing their assets, and some districts were giving their assets. Is that correct?
As far as I can recall, I think you may very well be right.
Well,
Yeah.
So therefore, there's a chance then that we may, that West Devon may review their assets to us then.
Perhaps we should put that to our West Devon councillors.
I'm disappointed in the shaking of the head because if some districts and boroughs can do it, then why is it just ours? Because when the reorganisation was, when the districts were formed, they took those assets from us, and they are expecting us to deliver extra work, but not giving us any way in which to get money back other than through our council tax.
I agree, and when we brought this up at the meeting, when they came to talk to us about the assets that we may or may not wish to take possession of, they told us that they couldn't give them to us because there was a legal requirement for them to sell it to us. But apparently it doesn't seem to be the case in every district.
Thank you for that. I will reserve the rest of my thoughts on it.
Thank you. Councillor Leach.
Yes, that's as I understand it from a West Devon / Southampton perspective. But equally, it was time limited. Anything that had to be done in a very short period of time. The officers that we've got are trying to run 2 districts, a district and a borough, as well as do all this work ready for the big change. So there had to be a time limit on how much time they could put to assets. So it was agreed through the council, West Devon, that any asset that was creating income certainly couldn't be agreed, because that income was still required for the unitaries in the future. The green spaces, yes, there was a possibility of doing that, but we soon found out that if we were given those green spaces, we couldn't change them. We would have to maintain them forever and a day based on the policies agreements they were created. So we couldn't take them up. But that would have been almost double taxation because the locals would have to pay for that. Whereas if it goes to the unitaries, it's spread over the general taxation. That's as I see West Devon starts up.
Thank you. Any more comments on LGR? Thank you, Councillor Marsh. I love you too. Moving on. 10.2, Community Governance Boundary Change. To consider any updates.
The only update I have is from West Devon Borough Council, who advised that they are in the process of drafting the order for that to be made, and that they would be in touch later this week about that.
Any questions on that? Moving on. 10.3, Neighbourhood Plan, to consider updates.
Sorry. I thought you just did that.
No, that was the governance boundary change. Neighbourhood Plan.
I have heard back from West Devon Borough Council, who have advised that they have received the paperwork from Oakhampton Hamlets. So now I need to resubmit the application, which I will do this week or next week.
Okay. Moving on, 10.4, allotments, to consider any updates.
We have reviewed an allotment policy with the working group that will be considered by Policy and Resources next week. And we've now had the draft lease in the weeks when I was away on holiday. So the working group will be asked to look at that hopefully in time for full council at the end of the month.
Thank you.
I've got to declare interest on payments on it. Do I stand outside?
Yes, you probably should.
Okay, moving on. Item 11, Finance and Governments. 11.1, Payments. To resolve to approve a schedule of payments. Councillor Tolley?
I'm happy to propose we approve them.
Thank you very much. Councillor Tolley to approve. Councillor Fisher to second. All in favour? Is everybody? Thank you very much. Councillor Marsh.
I abstain.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were holding your hand up.
No, I did to say that I was going to abstain.
I do apologise. I thought you were holding your hand up
The
too.
reason being, I have also already declared an interest because one of the payments is going to a group that I support.
Right, thank you very much. Okay. 11.2. Internal auditor appointment for 2026-27 to ratify the appointment of IAC Audit and Consultancy for the second of a 3-year agreement, 25-26, 26-27 and 27-28, noting the independence and competence of the auditor. Any questions, anyone, or no?
I'll certainly propose.
Councillor Richards to propose?
Yep.
Do we have a seconder?
Second.
Either of those two. And all in favour? Thank you very much. Item 12, wider Oakhampton Cluster Group, to note that Training Network Day, open to all councillors and officers that form the group, is being held on the 22nd of July in the Charter Hall. So any of us can go, any of our staff can go. Councillor Richards?
I was a little bit just confused by the wording of the agenda item, in the sense that to note that the Training Network Day is open to all councillors and officers that form part of the group. It's rather like the panda shoots, eats, shoots and leaves. I just want to confirm whether it's all councillors, that is all of us, or whether it's only the councillors, which is in fact just the mayor, isn't it?
No, it's all councillors.
It is all
everybody-
councillors.
No, as the email I sent.
And the officers that form part of the group.
Yes.
So my understanding original was correct.
The training, DOG are providing free of charge, which would normally be £250 or £300, and they have also today awarded us a grant of £50 to provide refreshments for the event.
So if anyone's free on that day, please feel free to join in. Item 13, annual meeting and mayor choosing review to consider feedback from the 13th of May 2026 and arrangements for future annual meetings. Councillor Marsh.
I might as well stick my head above the parapet first of all and say that I was a bit disappointed in the numbers that was at the mayor choosing. It's much smaller than usual, and we seem to be going backwards in the importance of the occasion.
Councillor Fisher.
Could I ask if we're inviting people like Lions, Rotary in a wheel, because none of them were here.
We invite who we can according to numbers, because we're limited up here because of fire regulations. And I think the time of day doesn't help either, because it's sort of on everybody's meal time. So I don't think that helped this year.
Councillor Ryland.
Yes, this is working. Yes, I just want to say that, I go to another mayor choosing, which is Launceston Town Council. I'll have to say, to compare it with the one we have, there is no comparison really. You yourself, Mr. Mayor, were there, so you know what I'm saying without me labouring the point. So I think I concur with Councillor Marsh, who's also at Launceston Mayor choosing, and so it's very different from ours, let's put it that way. Thank you.
I think there is scope to do something. Exactly how we're going to do that, I think it's going to take a bit of thought. And I've got a funny feeling Councillor Marsh has been thinking about this So, Councillor Marsh, please.
I'm very reluctant to suggest this because I'm not really for them, but maybe propose that we set up a small working group for it to discuss the item rather than here in full council.
Councillor Ryland?
Yes, Councillor Marsh and I are so often agreeing is the wrong word, but yes, I actually agree with Councillor Marsh. It'd be nice to have a working group, and based on your experience, Mr. Mayor, and Councillor Marsh and myself, who have experienced the other experience at Hanson, it would be nice to do them. I'm happy to try and help you if I can. Thank you.
So, Councillor Marsh is the proposer of this proposal. Would you like to be sort of heading up this working group?
I don't mind heading it up at all.
And I take it, Councillor Ireland, you would like to be on the group?
Oh, indeed, yes.
Is there anyone else here that would like to be on that group?
I'd like to second Councillor and yeah, good.
Okay. Councillor Leach and Councillor Richards, would you like to be on the group? Anybody else here like to be on the group? I think I will, just for good measure.
I think you should be, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, so do we need to vote on the creation of this group? So all in favour of the creation of this wonderful working group? That's literally everybody. I'm surprised that our public didn't join in on that one as well.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you very much. Moving on swiftly. Mayoral awards. To consider a process for the receipt and selection of nominations for future mayoral awards.
Can I make a suggestion that this could be considered as part of the same working group?
Yep, I think so. Anyone against that?
No.
No? Okay, brilliant. That's that one dealt with. Item 15, my diary report. I've two events this month. Coffee morning, where I raised £234 to be split between Rock to Recovery and the Devon and Cornwall 4x4 group. That went very well. Lots of people attended. I got to speak to pretty much everybody there as well, which is where I found out all these people that fallen over and smashed themselves up on our pavement. And the County Hall LGR meeting, which I've discussed. I don't think there's any more questions on that one, is there, Councillor Marsh? No, thank you very much. And yeah, that's the end of that one. And that is the end of the meeting. So thank you very much, everyone, for attending. And I declare this meeting closed at 20:03.
Yes, very good.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.